Welcome, Wastelanders, to our first comic book movie. Comics in Fallout are threefold. They're power-ups, they're collectibles, and they're used for world building. Grognak the Barbarian, for instance, is about mystery and simplicity in a pre-World War of technology and certain doom. It's like in The Watchmen, where kids read pirate comic books because they live in a world where costumed heroes are both real and verboten. But this movie was made both in our reality and post Tim Burton's Batman. So the demand for an edge succeeded the demand for any kitsch. Let's buckle up those skull emblazoned leather gunbelts and let's pull those purple shorts over our purple onesies. It's time to watch 1996's The Phantom. Welcome again to Pod Never Changes, a Fallout Movies podcast. I am your host, Ricky, and with me as always is... Wait, no. Can it be?
What?
It is. He's here.
Wow,
LJ.
that was even more than I was expecting. Hello, I'm LJ.
I'm fumbling it. I was trying to do better than last time, but oh well. I'm trying to big you up. Hey, LJ, how you doing?
Yeah, I feel like bigging me up is probably the wrong approach, but that's fine. We can continue.
In lieu of there being a Fallout movie, LJ and I, two guys that like Fallout and like movies, have decided to put together a search, a league table. We're looking to try and find an analog, something that will fill that Fallout movie void, because there isn't one. So we are looking for wasteland movies, we are looking for bleak future movies, we're looking for perhaps communist movies, alien movies, who knows, sci-fi, retro futurism, just something to try and fill that void for us. So we're watching movies, we are rating those movies with our grade system. Then we're also going to talk a little bit about perhaps Fallout and us and our relationship to it, and maybe bake in a couple of fantasy game mods while we're at it. So what do we say? Should we start this?
Let's do it. Yeah, I'm excited. So yeah, I just want to dip into a little bit of our history with the franchise, really, with Fallout. We've talked about how we got into it, what our favourite game is. So this week, I was just going to ask you, open question. I feel like there's been some rumours going around about remakes. If you could remake any of the Fallout games that have come thus far, which game would you instantly cook up as a remake?
From Fallout?
From Fallout, the franchise.
The Fallout franchise. New Vegas, come on.
Okay. Why?
Because it's so fun, but one, without a remake, it's difficult to access myself. I can't seem to get it online. I could buy a copy for about £40, like an old secondhand disc. So just to make it more accessible to people. But also, I've not played the DLCs or any of the expansions. So I think in a nice remaster with them all thrown in. And also, it's that thing of, it's the game that everybody loves, but when you see it, like people playing it, it's not the prettiest. It's still gorgeous. It's still great. But it's kind of, it's to protect, to help the franchise with its kind of, with like say growth or anything. But like, it's like, it's a strong defense. It's the best, and you're like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
like, look, here it is. It's better. It's beautiful. Just persevere. You know what I mean? Like, you don't even need to do that. It's there.
I find that's the challenge that I have when I'm recommending the series to people, especially now with the TV series knocking around. That a cousin of mine started playing it for the first time, and I had to recommend Fallout 4 to him because it's the most kind of polished the single player version of the game, really, right? It's the older games are quite clunky to get into for someone who's not familiar with the franchise. So yeah, I think you definitely want something like a New Vegas to kind of be able to just give as like a polished version. Now, whether or not Bethesda will be able to knock out a polished version of the game is another question, but we'll find that out.
It's also when we talk about the TV show, season 2 is airing as we record, and it's the one that everyone was. I think people really liked season 1, but then when it was season 2, that was the, oh, you know what I mean? Like that was the moment where people were, slapping their thighs, throwing babies in the air. Like it was, you know what I mean? Like that was, people were going crazy. They were excited for it, and I was like, I was too. I was like, yes, we're gonna get all the stuff. We're gonna get the Death Claws. Gonna get everything. Are we gonna get Caesar or Kaiser? Like all these things.
Yeah.
Like I was excited for it, and so like I think there's a lot there. Even though, like I say, I think Fallout 76 right now is my favorite to play right now. It's so, when I think back to New Vegas, it's like, yeah, there's a heck of a lot there. It's so dense. Are you New Vegas? Remake New Vegas?
Well, I mentioned previously New Vegas is probably my favorite game, but for a remake, I would actually go Fallout 1. I think they should go right back to the beginning. It's those old games are like those isometric top-down turn-based RPGs. I think remaking it as
Wait. Are we saying remake like Final Fantasy VII?
Yes. Yeah.
Where it's okay now. It's just everything. Just it's not that at all. It's
exactly. Yeah,
different.
that's it. So it's basically you're just taking the story, the setting, quests, etc., but then just transposing that into modern day Fallout with 3D world, real time gameplay. The old one is there. It's there and playable if you want that. Like, I don't know why you would remake that as an isometric turn-based game. Like it's there and it functions as that as it is. I think instead, like, making that story accessible and replayable through what we have now come to be familiar with gameplay wise, I think would be I'd be most curious.
I agree. It's a blocker to playing in that, like, if you're used to like the larger version that we have now, the RPG or whatever, like the first person one, like if you to have that and then to go back, it's like, oh, it's not really what I expected. But I appreciate that it might, maybe there's depths to plumb that are not accessible to me, or like, so maybe that would do it. Then again, what if you remade it as like what if you remade it as like a board game?
I think there's a Fallout.
You know what I mean?
There is a Fallout board game actually. I've just never had the chance to play it with anyone. So.
So we've got something called the Great System. That's GREAT. G, we're looking at the genre. R, very random specifics about Fallout. E, what is in the environment that is very Fallout. A, aesthetics, visuals, things we're looking at, what you can see, but even aesthetics in terms of props and items. And tribes, the people, the individuals and the groups. How very Fallout are they, right? So we're kind of looking at this. And the idea is that as we discuss the movie, when we see something that is, say, genre or genre specific, we give it a +1. When we see something that's perhaps very aesthetic, that is very specifically very Fallout, we give it a +1 to the aesthetics. And the idea is that we have a cap of +6 for each of these. So that's a maximum of 30 points. So the maximum score we can get is 30. At the end, we'll probably debate over whether or not what that score will be, and we may also throw in what we're going to call a debuff. The most obvious example here is when we were watching Mad Max 2, which is a quintessential, very, very, very Fallout movie. We gave it a -1 debuff. We took off a point just for the sake of it's so card dependent that it's that it's very contrary to Fallout and the franchise, because there is little to no movable cars in the entire franchise. So that's what we're going to do. We'll probably explain it more as we go through, and as we add points, we'll discuss them. It should become more apparent what we mean by great.
The Phantom, I hadn't heard of it before. Hadn't been in my consciousness at all. But The Phantom, 1996, sort of action superhero movie. Kind of superhero, in quotes. Is he a superhero? I don't know. That's a question we'll ask. Directed by Simon.
He's definitely a hero, whether or not he's super.
Yeah, I had questions about what the Phantom actually was, even. But yeah, directed by Simon Windsor. Did you know the director, like, off top, or was that a director
I
you were?
couldn't tell you if you said Simon Windsor. I do not know who that is.
The budget is like somewhere between 45 and $50 million. What do you think it did at the box office? Did it
Wait,
make its
what was
budget
the
back?
budget?
45 to 50, which is
I
quite a
feel
lot,
like
actually.
in '96, I think it made it back. I
No,
think it made it back. I'm trying to think what it didn't.
no, no.
No way.
23.5 million. It was a flop. Yeah,
Wow.
pretty wild. But from a critical point of view, well, I'll say but from a critical point of view, also from a critical point of view, about the same, like 43%. Critics on Rotten Tomatoes, 31% on the audience score, 5.1 out of 10 on IMDb, and a 2.6 on Letterboxd. So not too warmly received. It's based on a comic book series, sort of pulp comic book series from, I don't know, 50s, 60s, something like that. So I imagine there's an element of, is this a good adaptation for people who are fans of the of the hero? I can't say. I don't know the source
Can I tell
material.
you what I mostly know the Phantom from?
Mm.
It is from, I want to say, '97. It was WCW Halloween Havoc, Eddie Guerrero versus Rey Mysterio Jr. And Rey Mysterio is in a purple Phantom outfit.
Oh, really?
The mask is part of this bodysuit that he has on here.
Yeah, it's built right into the shirt.
A little bit of trivia. So actually, I threw out '60s as a date of conjecture, but like it's from a 1936 comic, actually, by a guy called Lee Falk. And actually, an interesting note I saw was that we're talking about Simon Windsor being a bit of a question mark on the as the director. Do you know who was interested in directing a Phantom adaptation at one point?
No, tell me.
Sergio Leone.
No.
Yeah, and he actually wrote a script and everything. He was very, I don't know if he was like a fan of the franchise or something like that, and was very intent on bringing it. And so it's kind of interesting looking at Simon Windsor's filmography. He's got a few westerns under his belt. I wonder if there was a feeling that there was a little bit of an analog there for a western, which I don't really see, but yeah, you can see little elements of it. I mean, there's the horse, so
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
not much.
But I don't see much of that in Crocodile Dundee or whatever.
No.
Oh.
Hey ho, but yeah, that's the Phantom.
For a recap, I think we should throw out why the Phantom, and we'll go straight into the kind of the scoring of this already immediately. There's going to be some scoring. The reason being is that it's comic books. We're thinking of Hubris Comics. We're thinking of those. There's Grognak the Barbarian kind of things, and there's also oh my goodness, what's the series of comic books? I'm gonna have to look this up now.
So I did actually. I pulled up a few different direct references, I guess. I mean, they're not direct
Please.
references, but they're specific things that seem to be parallels in Fallout. So there's Astoundingly Awesome Tales.
Those are the ones.
yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a series of radio plays and comic books in Fallout. A lot of the dialogue and kind of the type of story, especially the opening monologue, kind of sounds like some of those radio plays. And then some of the other little references that I thought I'd mention is you've got a few superheroes in Fallout. You've got the Mechanist from Fallout 3, Ant Agonizer from Fallout New Vegas, and the Mistress of Mystery, who's in Fallout Shelter, who I didn't know of because I've not played enough of Fallout Shelter. But yeah, so you've got a few superheroes as well dotted throughout.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna throw straight away a +1 to genre for comic books.
Yeah.
What about Actually, we'll come to them as we go. But okay, let's talk about the plot.
Let's go.
Okay, so immediately we talk about comic books. That's a +1. Okay, wonderful. So we have a quick prologue, right? So just telling us a little history. It's a young boy on a ship. Pirates attack. Everyone's dead. He washes ashore in the mysterious continent or country, rather, of Bengala. I'm trying to think where it's supposed to be. Like I don't know where it is, but it's whether it's.
I kind of got from the naming of stuff like Bengala and Seng as being like South Asian in some way. Like
that's it. It's basically, so it's set in the Phantom is set in the 1930s, I think 1938, but the whole mystery of the Phantom started hundreds maybe of years ago. Is kind of the idea here. So I'm guessing 17th, maybe 18th century or something. Who knows? But it's the boy washes ashore. Local Bengalas, which are like tribes. It's very Orientalist, a kind of East and West to this, but it's made a while back, I guess. So I'm totally giving it a pass. Why am I waving it through? We're not gonna be able to get this through this if I don't wave a lot of things through. All right, so I'm just gonna wave it through. Okay, it's fine. Go through. So the local tribe, basically, great. They keep him alive, and for some reason they think he's brilliant, and they present him with 3 skulls.
Not 3 skulls. At this point, it's just the mysterious ring, the skull ring.
Oh, you're right.
Yes,
you're right. Yeah. There's skull paraphernalia knocking around, and they give him a ring, right? A skull ring to this little kid, and that's kind of where we are. So all we know is that there's pirates. This kid is given a skull ring. They're in Bengala, and we see also the pirates have a very distinct flag, which is kind of like an italicized cobweb.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Kind of what I saw it as. They're referred to as the Seng Brotherhood. You've got Kabe Seng, who's like the leader, who's the one who kills the boy's father, and they kind of like just fudge the origin story here a little bit. Like it's kind of just waved away, but yeah, they present it with the ring, and then they kind of just vaguely gesture to him fighting evil and avenging his father and becoming the Phantom, and you get the credit sequence, the opening title.
So before any of this starts, right, I don't know if this is just for home release or if they showed this in the cinema or whatever. It actually starts with the words on screen saying, "For those who came in late."
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's just, we're going to catch you up. This happened, right? So, okay, that's all we know. Boy, the Seng pirates killed family. People in Bengala gave him a skull ring. That's all we know. Okay, now we fast forward to 1938, I think, where it's then in the Bengala jungle. There's some very Brooklyn types and a young, like, local kid, right, in a car. He's a bit of a short round, which is like my least favorite character, bless him, in Indiana Jones movies. But they're kind of like, for some reason, they're in a jungle. They're in a truck speeding through. It's Bengala. They are villains or grave robbers or henchmen. They're a bit indistinct at the moment. The lead henchman here is a guy called Quill. He's going to be recurring. I kind of liked this guy because he's given a lot of lip service into hurting this kid. Like the kid's being a bit lippy, and he goes to elbow him in the head, but he misses it by so much that it's like he wasn't trying to hit this kid in the head with his elbow. And then later on, they're like, maybe we should kill the kid, and he's like, no.
He says he's not taking us beyond this point.
So shoot him.
No, we may need him. To drive the truck back across the bridge. Tie him up and leave him here.
See, it's funny you say that. Is that I feel like he was I took it as he was being serious, and he really could not care less about the life of this child. But the elbow, I know what you mean. It's like a very telegraphed elbow, but I feel like that might have just been, we can't hurt this child actor.
Yeah, that could be it. Can't even risk it. Yeah. Okay, so they're looking for something with a map. They come to, I thought it was quite a good joke myself. They come to a big, long rope bridge, right? They've got to get this big truck across this bridge. It's a bit shaky. Quill says, okay, what we're going to do is we're all going to get out of the truck and we're going to walk across apart from one guy, And that one guy is then going to drive the truck across, right? So we can all get across, and if the truck falls, only one guy goes down or whatever. Okay, makes sense. And then one of the other guys says, well, who's going to drive the truck? Cuts to the kid driving the truck across the rickety bridge. I thought it was quite quick.
Which goes to the point
fun.
of they could not care less about this kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, he dies.
They're making their way to a cave with skeletons. I said skeletons.
Yeah. They are skeletons. Gosh, I haven't thought about skeleton in a long time.
With skeletons in it. We also see, I think is this a great point? We see our first Tommy gun.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't even notice that really. Funnily enough, I actually thought of Skyrim in this this cave. Yeah, it was giving me that. So you've not mentioned it yet, but one of the skeletons kind of comes alive for a second, and
yeah. So, okay, let's jump to that. They're searching for something, and it's they go to a cave that's kind of like a tomb or a grave, or there's skeletons everywhere. there's like clay pots and stuff, and they're all kind of in poses, or these skeletons. One guy says, "Oh, I found it," or whatever. He finds a skull. Some guy says, "Mr. Drax is going to be happy," and then the skeleton strangles him for some reason. The arms just come up and strangle him.
Yeah.
And I couldn't tell if this was supernatural. I didn't know if the Phantom was hiding, and I was like, I literally replayed it to be like, is somebody holding the arms up of the skeleton?
Yeah, it seems like fully supernatural to me. Like it looks, it's very deliberate. It's not like, the arms have kind of just like knocked up. So it seems like we've got direct supernatural reference here.
Quill's a little bothered by the guy being dead, but nobody's freaked out by the skeleton coming to life and choking him.
No, and
they get over that quick.
To James Remar's whole tone here, and I don't know about this. Like, I've seen him in a bunch of things, and I can't to this day work out if he's a good actor or not, because it really works for the tone of this film, but he's got this really like exaggerated delivery. It's kind of like I'm in a piece of fiction right now, and I'm really kind of enunciating my lines. But yeah, his delivery kind of just makes the whole thing seem a little bit.
Maybe this was a movie where, like in the 90s, actors suddenly realised they had to pay tax. And they're like, I better do that movie.
Maybe.
That's fine, I don't care, I'll do it. Is this a great point? In the cave, they had those old miner's lamps that you get in Fallout. So whenever there's a cave, especially one that leads to a vault, you get those old-fashioned miner's lamps.
Yeah, I think you could definitely add a point for just some of the cave aesthetics generally, right? Like it just the overall like a cave that's got a bunch of dead people, like skeletons in there, spiders crawling around and webs and like miscellaneous items. That's very Fallout, right? Like it's exactly the kind of environmental storytelling that you get in Fallout. So you could potentially have a point for the items and a point for the location.
So we get cave, we're going to go into environment, and then miner's lamp under aesthetics.
Yeah.
Okay, so they continue kind of raiding the cave, and then suddenly we hear some tribal drums. We don't know where they're coming from, but they are diegetic because they hear them. We then get a montage of animals. So just one animal, I don't know, I can't remember the animals, but you see one, then another, and then we see the Phantom, Billy Zane, in his purple Phantom costume, sat waiting on a throne with his kind of wolf dog called... Did you get the name of the dog?
I think it was Devil, right?
Devil, yeah, I like that name. Great point. Is this a dog companion?
Definitely, yeah.
So let's put that under tribes. Is that tribes? People? Dog companion?
Yes.
They get quickly back to their truck and they try and escape because they're shaken up by the drums or whatever. The Phantom is on a horse chasing them. Some guy says, who is that guy? Quill says, someone I already killed. Oh, okay. Bit of history here. Maybe a bit of lore. Quill grabs there's a bit of chasing. Phantom throws people away. He gets onto the truck when it's just Quill, the little boy, and the Phantom on the truck. Quill grabs the skull, leaps out of the truck, and then the Phantom and the kid who's now tied up hit the bridge. Fun little bits of stunts. Some people falling out of the truck. They get away off the bridge safely. The truck falls to the river and explodes. Quill gets away. But all of his little kind of sub-henchmen are then captured by some lovely English colonial people in Bengala, because why wouldn't they be there? So during the chase, of course, there was a couple of, there's fighting. Billy Zane, I believe, got maybe stabbed or shot. I can't remember.
Yeah, he gets stabbed by Quill.
There we go. But now he's back in his lair, in his stone lair, and he's getting attended to by a boy. And shirt off, looks fantastic, man.
He's jacked, isn't he? Yeah, he didn't look like that under the costume. The costume doesn't do him justice, to be fair.
No. It's that thing of when you think about Marvel movies and how everyone has to get super jacked, and it's just like, just Billy Zane, just jacked as hell.
It makes you wonder. Like, I guess the outfits do a lot of heavy lifting nowadays. Like, as like muscular as like Chris Hemsworth gets, I think the costume still has to kind of be shaped to like emphasize it, because he was looking kind of goofy in his spandex outfit.
That's it. There's a bit of dialogue here where we learn about the three skulls, and if they're combined, they become kind of super powerful.
Yeah, you've got like a gold, silver, and jade one.
That's it. But they don't tell you how. They just tell you it's an incredible, great weapon. If I'm honest, later on, I'm a bit underwhelmed by it. But it's some sort of incredible power that you get from or having these three mysterious skulls, one of which is now in Quill's hands. He's chatting with his dad.
Who we don't find out he's his dad right now, right? He's just an old man that's just there.
Well, it's an old man. It's played by Patrick McGoohan, who is... I love that man. This is his least hammy performance, so I had to double take, because he plays every role like when cats are annoyed. Just like he always plays bothered by, like, you're talking to someone and he's barely keeping his tolerance, levels to I can talk to you.
He's given me theatre actor, is that right?
Yeah. Maybe. He did a lot of war movies, did The Prisoner,
right.
Which is delightful fun, and of course he did a couple of Columbos. Come on, this is two on a trot. Okay. What the interesting thing is, his dad shows up. He's an old man. We kind of maybe figure out he's his dad. What I liked is there was a good joke where he's like, I thought it was a good bit of fun, where he's like, I lost one of the skulls, and the dad is like, these things happen. We all make mistakes. And then he says, it was to the Seng Brotherhood. And then he flips and he's like, what?
You're pardon yourself. We all make mistakes. This one gets worse.
How so?
It was the Sang Brotherhood.
They've tried and failed to get their hands on those skulls for the last 400 years.
Which made me chuckle. I thought, that's good.
And that's where we get told as well that the James Remar's crew Quill is part of the Seng Brotherhood.
Yeah. Then the butler boy shows back up, and then his dad's not there. So we get the vibe here that maybe his dad is a ghost. So his dad is dead. I think you can start piecing the lore together here when Quill said, who is that guy? And Quill said, somebody I already killed. You're getting the idea here that the Phantom is kind of inherited or passed down from father to son, a bit like Black Panther, I guess, where it goes generational. Interesting, though, that Patrick McGoohan, who might have been in his 60s, would have been the Phantom at this point. That's how he looks when he's dead. He was the Phantom when he was that old.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
He should have maybe passed the torch a little sooner, is kind of what I'm saying here. Okay, now we're back in New York. Well, no, not back. We're in New York for the first time. We're at a mansion somewhere in New York. It's still 1938. We meet Miss Diana Palmer. She's returning home. She's an adventurer, kind of dame sort, kind of brassy. Doesn't take guff from men type stuff. Bit of a caricature, I think, but I quite like her in this. She's wearing pants and a sports jacket and a shirt and a tie. Somebody asks, how's the Yukon? That type of thing.
Yeah, so she's charity like dinner? Some kind of traveller, right?
Yeah. She's not sitting around doing nothing, right? She doesn't want to be domesticated. She's got ambitions.
I wanted to give a point here for aesthetics. I guess aesthetics, or is it genre? You can decide. Just I guess it is aesthetic, because literally the overall aesthetic here is very pre-war Fallout, right? Like it's at this party, top hats and people in tuxedos and a lot of the hair, it's like the sort of the women's hair is like this poofy kind of hair that goes up the side. I don't know what it would be called. They're all very all of their hairstyles could be selectable in the Fallout character creator. Although like timeline wise, it's probably like 20 years before Fallout's pre-war times, it's kind of vaguely fits, I think, in that aesthetic.
Yeah, let's throw it in aesthetics. There we go. It's a charity dinner. I didn't realize the relationship that Diana had to the hosts here. At first I thought it was just her parents. It's her aunt and uncle, so I'm guessing her parents are gone. The uncle is a newspaper editor, owner, I'm unsure. But it's a charity dinner they're throwing, and then we see a guy enter that we learn is Mr. Drax. He's referred to as a thug. This is Treat Williams. He's kind of a handsome-looking kind of, not quite a cad, but he's just kind of borderline. He's like a blondish mobster, but he's very he's very kind of mid-Atlantic maybe, rather than say distinctly New York. He's got a bit of money behind him.
I can say who he's like because we get introduced to him as like this businessman who's got his fingers in every pie, and corruption and government officials and crime family, etc. But also his look, to me, I would add it as a point, gives very Mr. House.
He is quite Mr. House.
Yeah, I saw him as a Mr. House analog immediately. So yeah, I would...
I'm going to throw that into tribes. Let's throw it in. So Drax equals House. I mean, we can talk to it in a second. There's two people at the party, the little charity event. We get like the police commissioner and the mayor of the city, and we find out pretty quick they're under his thumb.
Yeah.
So he's got money and influence, I think. So I'd say it's pretty fair to say that he has that in common with Mr. House. So Diana goes to the kitchen. This is just a bit of character, but I quite liked it. There's a kind of a would-be beau of hers called Jimmy. This is great. He said he had the urge to
charter a plane, track you down up there in the frozen north, charge into your tent or hut or log cabin or whatever, sweep you off your feet and bring you back here to New York.
Really, Jimmy? Why didn't you?
I'm not sure exactly, but after a few sets of tennis and a cold gin fizz, the urge just seemed to pass.
I was just like, and I'm trying to figure out if he's just a cad, or if he's like maybe queer coded, and he's just like, you know what I mean? I couldn't tell if he's like, if he's like closeted and like he wants Diana as a beard. Like I couldn't quite tell what was going on here, or if it was just he was that kind of guy where it's just, well, tennis and gin fizz is my priority. Sorry. He follows it up with, this is one for all the listen up, red pillars. If you're going to try and riz ladies, you could do worse than this line. He says,
"Gosh, you're pretty in those woodsy flannels."
That's some dialogue, man. It's great.
Excellent.
But you also get like, I think it's more that we're trying to push. I think they're trying to demonstrate the difference between him being a man and Diana as a woman, and she's she's not feminine, but she's not like what you expect for, like, you go to college and you become a wife or whatever the expectation was in the 30s. These broad stereotypes or whatever. And I think that's then emphasized by the fact that she's in the kitchen and Jimmy takes a bite of a cocktail olive as she takes a bite out of what looks to be a bologna sandwich. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just those kind of two juxtaposed things there. So I think he's there for the sake of telling us a bit about Diana here. So the mayor and the police commissioner are there, as I say, at the party, and they try and tell the uncle, he's all right, you don't need to worry about Drax, he's a good guy. We then, like I say, we learn that he's got ties to a crime family, and Diana's uncle has been researching Drax and the spiderweb symbol and these pirates and all these types of things. And then we get just a small thing of Drax leaves the party, and I'm not sure if it's the commissioner or the mayor.
One of the other.
It's one of them. They're just two old guys, and then they see Drax at the exit or in the car or whatever, and they say they know far too much. So I'm guessing something's happening here. Okay, we now have some crime guys are now watching Diana. She's leaving. She's about to get on a plane and fly somewhere. Great. But a fort. I was thinking great, but then I thought a fort. But they're watching from like an outdoor diner, like just on the dock side. And there's right at the front of in the foreground, we see a cola bottle and a ketchup bottle. And I was like, that's so American. But in my head, my thought went, cola bottle, Nuka-Cola, right? Whether or not we throw that together as a point here, because depending on the movie you're watching, a cola bottle means anything. A cola bottle in a Vietnam movie means, I don't know, colonialism or something, or imperialism. I just had this thought of, are there ketchup bottles in Fallout? There's condiments sometimes.
Yeah, I'm sure there are. I don't think they're like an item that you can pick up. I think they're there maybe as an aesthetic kind of thing in a diner or something. But I can't actually remember specifically if there are. But I think I would, for now, at least give it a point, because I think it's not common that you'll get that era of Coke bottle showing. So it's very much like the Nuka-Cola bottle. I didn't notice it, actually. That's quite a fun one.
Just a thought. We can argue me down. Okay, so for whatever reason, Drax is getting these guys to follow Diana. Obviously, they want to maybe kidnap her for leverage or something. Not sure why we need the next scene, really, but we're back. We see Drax in his office, and a librarian from the city library, who's obviously giving him access to things, comes in, and he thinks he's lying about something. So Drax thinks the librarian guy is lying about something. So he asks him to look into his microscope. He looks into his microscope. It's got blades in it. It's like gimmicked with blades, and it stabs him in the eye, and we hear a scream. So he, for some reason, has a trick microscope just hanging around.
I feel like it's just to show he's evil and he's inventive, which again kind of just gives me not Dr. House, Mr. House. Yeah,
but I feel like he's having more fun.
He is, yeah, for sure. But we don't get much of pre-war House, so maybe
true.
Maybe he did have fun.
Maybe it was a laugh. Maybe he was great fun. Okay, so next Dan is on a Pan Am flight. It's hijacked by Catherine Zeta-Jones. Or if you're an American, Catherine Zeta-Jones for some reason, whatever. She's playing, I didn't realise her name until much later, Sala, she's called. I believe her thing is, so Quill is like the henchmen and the thugs. Sala is more, she has the planes and the pilots. So she's taken and kidnapped specifically. Then we're back in Bengala. The Phantom is now visiting some English colonial kind of cop guy. Asks him about the abduction. He mentions it's Diana Palmer, and he very quickly is like, "Oh, Diana? Oh, yeah. Like he knows who she is, but he's kind of giving it away. He's like, "Oh, yeah, her uncle's a newspaper guy, right? You know, that kind of thing." So we're learning maybe he knows who she is. He feels incentivized to go and find her. Great. So they're on a boat somewhere in Bengala, because I guess that's where she was taken. There's this weird phrase, right? So the Phantom is going to try and rescue her from this boat that she's on. And he's there with the kid from earlier. And the Phantom says to the kid, "Go back to the rope people and stay away from bad guys, huh?" And I think, the rope people?
Rope people? I don't know what that means.
Turns out, I think they're a tribe that we see ever so briefly later on with ropes for 1 second in the movie.
Do you think that could be like the Phantom comic book lore? Maybe
it could be. Yeah. It could be from the comic books, maybe. But yeah, it's like it felt so unimaginative. The rope people, of course, but also like the stay away from bad guys. So Devil the dog is back with him. They climb onto a boat. We then get Sala and Diana having a little bit of chat back and forth while they're kind of interrogating her. Nice boots, expensive. Not really. You know, that's kind of rich girls talking, I think. You know, a bit of back and forth and a bit of patter. One joke I liked is the Phantom is sneaking onto the boat, and whilst you can hear them two talking, so you're thinking he's getting closer and closer, he bursts into a locker room, but it's the women's locker room by mistake with his guns out. and he's like, "Oh, my apologies," or whatever, like, and he goes away. But because they're Sala's pilots, they have guns, and they shoot at him, and he escapes pretty quick. Yeah. I liked how genuinely like nervous he was. Like, that was quite charming, I think. That was added by Billy Zane there. Of like he's totally like actually embarrassed. Like there's no like real quip and stuff, but he's just like, "Oh, I'm so shy. Sorry, girls." You know. Okay. Phantom is jumped by Quill. Devil I think is a wolf dog. I think.
Yeah, I kind of saw him as more as a wolf.
Yeah, I wasn't paying much attention the first time, and then I think Diana then says, "Your wolf's a dog," and he just says, "I know." They escape on like a little seaplane. Before it takes off, it's shot, so it's losing fuel. The bad guys don't give up, so they try and chase on their truck and on horseback. They try and chase the plane as it's getting away. Meanwhile, the Phantom's horse is also then catching up and chasing as well. They jump off the plane and land on the Phantom's horse.
It's a decent little stunt. Not bad.
Pretty good little stunt, yeah. Bad guys arrive in their trucks and in the horses. The truck hits a log, and only the horses follow. The bad guys get caught by the rope people, who hang them up. So just as they were getting chased away, he led them to the rope people. They just hung them up with rope, which is, I guess, effective.
I guess with the rope people then being a specific faction, I guess literally a tribe, as per our tea in the Great. I guess this is probably a good point to just mention. I don't know if we've got it already down as a point, but I think you could have a point here for factions. You've got the Seng Brotherhood, you've got the initial tribe that kind of does the little ritual at the beginning of the film with the boy with what is the Phantom's name? His character
Kit Walker.
Name? Kit, yes.
Kit Walker.
With Kit. So that's the Tuganda tribe. You've got the Rope people. You've got Catherine Zeta-Jones's, I think they're called the Sky Band. And they're all sort of dressed distinctly, and they're kind of, they're all women. They're all dressed in kind of pilot outfits. That, again, reminded me of... There's a faction in Fallout I want to say Fallout 3, the Boomers. Is it Fallout 3 or is it maybe... No, it's New Vegas, I think, the Boomers.
How do you want to divide these up? So
I don't think you get a point
is
for
it one
each.
plus...
Yeah, I think it's just a 1 point for like having an array of specific tribes, literally, and like Fallout, where they all have like a distinct identity.
I think that's fair. Yeah. Let's throw that in there. The Phantom takes Diana back to his skull-shaped cave with a big skull out the front. He's in there. The British guy from earlier shows up. They're told a little bit more about the evil Seng Brotherhood, and then we're back to New York. Drax's skull has arrived in a box by Quill and by Sala.
Oh, it is beautiful.
I used a little toothpaste on it. It polished up so good.
Toothpaste? Really? That's nice.
The henchman, so Quill asks, what should we do about the Phantom? And Drax says, nothing. This is New York City. I shouldn't be worried about some jungle folk hero half a world away. And then we cut to Billy Zane out of his Phantom costume, stepping out of a cab very quickly. I liked the sense of humour there. That was quite fun, how he just stepped out. Like, he's half a world away. No, he's not. Which was a bit fun.
I don't know if it was mentioned at this point in the film, but did you get the impression that he, like you talked about him being kind of a little nervous when he walks in on the women. I kind of at this point had the impression that he was just Island Boy, like, Tarzan or something, but there are allusions made to
no, he knows Diana. So
Diana
I think
is his ex, I think.
I think so. I think they mention later that they knew each other in college. Then I think when his dad died, like 6 years ago, he then went to Bengala.
Yeah,
for family
exactly.
stuff,
it's just a little bit odd because the way the film is set up at the beginning, it makes it seem like he's just there on the island. But then throughout the film, they mention a few times, no, he's been going off, and that explains, I guess, his.
Well, that kind of ties into, like, he steps out of the cab. And immediately the cabbie's like, he gives him some cash, and the cabbie's like, what is this? And he's like, oh, sorry, that's Bengala money. And so he tries to pay him in diamonds and precious gems and stuff. The cabbie is a guy called Al. I can't remember the actor's name, but he's the real dickhead detective in Ace Ventura.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Homicide, Ventura. Now, how you gonna solve that one?
Drax then is presenting the opportunity in chaos. His kind of what he's presenting is the world is in chaos. This is 1938. So America is in ruins. Europe and Asia are at war. He's pitching that having all three will give him great power, but two skulls will point to the location of the third. Is this a great point? The world is on the brink of an ending.
Oh, in what sense?
In that it's an opportunity for Vault-Tec or Robco or anyone, because the world is about to explode or blow up. Why don't we either have a hand in it or just basically take power?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely one that we could debate. I think it's quite general, but I think it could work.
Okay. Let's throw that into genre. Yeah, world on brink of collapse. There's one guy who's kind of dissenting at this presentation. So he's presenting this, and it's to like mob guys and Sala and whoever. And there's one guy who I think is part of I can't remember, the Zeppo or the Zappo crime family. And he was like, I don't feel good about this. I was an altar boy, for Christ's sake, or whatever. He walks out, and Drax is like, yeah, no problem, man. There's the door. Go, no problem. And as he leaves, for some reason, he has a spear, and he throws it in his back and kills him. Of all of the things, he has a spear, stabs him there. The commissioner is here. They're about to go somewhere in broad daylight and get the second skull. So things are starting to move. Diana is now at her uncle's newspaper. And guess who's there? It's only, it's Jimmy. Jimmy's there. But Billy Zane is also there. He's got a name finally. We learn that he's called Kit Walker. He's been away for 6 years. They're old college friends. He describes the skulls. So he's in town to find the skulls. And they're kind of talking about it. Diana's a bit excited to see him in that. And then Jimmy, again, the cad, pipes up. And he's like, oh, I've seen something like before. But it was green. And it's like, are we taking this guy seriously? And they're like, oh, Jade, perhaps? You know? Actually, I like that. That's a quote of like Kit, who's like pretending not to know much about it. When a guy says it's green, he's like, Jade, perhaps? I mean, well, that kind of thing. He's kind of play down that he doesn't know that much about it. I'm not the Phantom or anything like that. Turns out Jimmy's like, yeah, I saw it in the museum on my 12th birthday party. And he's just like, well, it's my 12th birthday party. So it was a big room there as well. And so, like, he's finally got a use, I guess, this guy. They go to leave. The cabbie is outside, and he says, like, I'm going to stick around you all day because while you were in there, I had the stones appraised, and they're fantastic, and they're real or whatever. So, great. That's when we learn that he's been away for 6 years because his father had died suddenly. We're now at the museum. So, Kit's there. He can see the skulls pretty quickly. He's like, it's in the wrong everything. Like it seems to think it's European. It seems to think there's knights. Everything's wrong about this. But he says, let's get the skull. And Diana's about to say, great, well, I can talk to some people and pull some strings. And Kit just walks over and smashes the glass and just takes the skull. But also there is Drax and his goons. They get the green skull off of him. What's interesting here is they've got the other skull with them. So he's got two skulls now, one in his hand, one in a bag. The bag starts smoking. So he's like, something's going on. And so he picks up both skulls. They magnetically go together and glass starts breaking. Things explode. Something's happening. And laser beams shoot out of the eyes of the skull to a nearby map. And that gives them the location on the map of the third. I'm guessing this is magic because I have no idea what it would happen if there was no map nearby. I do not know. But it shoots the location to a map. So that's where they've got to go. Can you describe Treat Williams's performance during this when everything's exploding and he's got the two skulls in his hand? Do you remember what he's doing?
Well, he's sort of spinning around and looking very.
He's laughing his head off.
Yeah,
he's literally saying, "This is amazing. I love this." It's like he's going 100% in, man. He's having so much fun, and it's just like he's hamming it up with this guy. I really enjoyed playing. He's fantastic.
He's good, and I feel like the surrounded, with his goons and whatever else, and the dialogue that they have between themselves, it all sounds and looks a lot like what you get in the radio plays in Fallout. That we mentioned, the astoundingly awesome tale radio plays.
I'm going to add that to random specifics.
Yeah.
And our greats into the R. I think into the randoms in terms of radio play dialogue. Drax is curious to know who this guy is, what he wants with the skull. So they all pile into a car and they drive off back to Drax's headquarters or whatever. Al the cabbie notices them and follows them. I think here we learn a bit more about how Quill killed Kit's dad, so the previous Phantom. The bad guys take Kit away for interrogation, but he escapes. They follow him because he knocks him down some stairs, and he runs up and he gets into a locked room. They follow him in, so the goons. They follow him in, and they notice his clothes on the floor, and then his legs come in off screen. They just kind of no clip out of nowhere, and he kind of chokes them with like leg scissors mid air, which is funny. But I also trying to think: is this meant to be that? Are we thinking that he wears the outfit underneath, or did he have the outfit in a pocket? You know, like with Superman, he has it underneath.
Yeah, I'm trying to find that scene to kind of just visualize. Like,
okay, can you also tell me? Can you pause it when you see the pile of clothes? Is his underpants in there? I was trying to figure out if there's in my head, like it was subconscious. There's a pair of like old fashioned boxer shorts or something. So he's walking up the stairs. He kicks two guys behind him, and then he attacks Quill, and then he runs off.
I feel like it is meant to be quite Superman, isn't it?
But he himself has no superhuman powers, right? He's just Like we learned that his dad died because he trusted Quill to take him somewhere to look for a map or something, or to look for something, and he stabbed him in the back. Literally, he says. So it's like, oh, he just got stabbed in the back, so he's not superhuman. Okay, I'm looking at the scene here. Hang on. Back one. Pile of clothes on the floor.
I think it looks like he's got underpants underneath the outfit, and they're just showing through.
But is that an actor thing, or is that a character thing?
Yeah, that's a good question. I feel like it's an actor thing. I feel like it's... We don't want to see anything else popping through that outfit.
You see a lot of his ass, right? Actually, I think what it is that he's got long, tight, like catsuit type thing, and like how Superman has underpants over or pants over top. I think it's that, but they're also purple. I think they're there to hide his modesty.
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Let's not obsess over his pants. But he's now the Phantom. He beats a couple of guys up. They then lock the doors and lock him into this machine room. The Phantom is locked up. And we learn that while he's being locked up, they say, great, we're going to go to the Devil's Vortex. That's where the skulls told them the third one, the skull is going to be. And somebody says, well, all them ships kept disappearing? Okay. So I guess it's like the Bermuda Triangle or something, right? So it's meant to be mysterious, and I guess that's a good cover for why things disappear. Also, something I noticed is, I don't know why I noticed this, I think it was on my second or third watch of this, is that when they all get back to Drax's headquarters, Sala is wearing one outfit. They then go upstairs to interrogate Kit. He then turns into the Phantom and escapes. We cut back down, and she's wearing a different outfit, completely different outfit. She's now wearing a one-piece bodysuit with like popped collar and stuff. And I'm like, did she need to change, or was this just continuity? I don't know. I just thought that was kind of interesting how she has all the costumes in this.
I wonder how much of that is like it being maybe she's a comic book character and that's like that's her outfit and she's switched into that outfit.
True. She's in a civvies or whatever, and then she's in a comic book outfit suddenly. Okay, so the bad guys now make their way to the docks or whatever. They're in a car, and they have Diana with them, and they want to get to the Devil's Vortex. Kit and goes to... So actually, no, it's the Phantom now. He escapes the elevator shaft where he was in. He slides down the ropes using his guns. And he has two guns, and you're like, what's he doing with his guns? He turns them upside down. He puts them together, and he uses them to slide down, and sparks go everywhere. This is when I noticed his gun. They are, I think, are these 9mm? Are these...
I mean, I'm not a gun guy enough to know off the top, but...
I Googled the guns from Fallout, and I was like, is that Is that a 9mm? But they're too. I think they're his signature, but I don't think they're distinct enough. Let's pass it off. Let's go by.
We'll add it for now.
Add it. Okay. Let's go aesthetics. Is that yeah? Let's go aesthetics.
Again, I would go with the thing of individual guns don't count unless they're specific, but overall we've had Tommy gun, this gun, spears.
Spears, yeah.
Which you do have in New Vegas. We'll see. We'll add them up and see if there's enough.
And 76. Okay. The cops who are, the commissioners he's crooked, so they're chasing the Phantom. They chase him to a zoo. They get scared off by some tigers. Al the cabbie shows up and helps him back. This is when, as they're driving towards the docks, because that's where they're going for some reason, this is when his dad shows up again, the ghost in the car, and he's talking to him, and the cabbie's clearly like, this guy's crazy, he's talking to himself, but he's talking to his ghost dad. This is when we learn about him being stabbed by Quill. And I honestly, this puts a point in Quill's column for me, because he's killed a Phantom.
Yeah.
I mean, that's impressive. I mean, it was old man Patrick McGowan, but he was still clearly in the outfit. And he must be in good shape, because he's looking at Billy Zane in the outfit, and he's like, I know you. And he's not like, I know you, but you had a big gut. He seems to be mistaking him for the exact person. You know what I mean? He also mentions when his dad says, what's this? Why is it so important or whatever? And he's like, oh, I met a girl. And his dad's like, attaboy. And then Zane again. Billy Zane has a great shucks face. He's so adorable when his dad's like, good lad, you met a girl. He's like, oh gosh. He's so fun. I really do like Billy Zane in this, man. He's so charming for me.
Do you know him from anything else? I don't, off the top of my head, I don't like. It's again like a name that I've heard a lot.
I know it's a name primarily from Zoolander.
Don't do this, Derek.
Listen to your friend Billy Zane. He's a cool dude. He's trying to help you out.
And I'm like, that's my main reference. But I think he was in Critters 2. I think he died pretty early in that. No, he's the bad boyfriend on Titanic.
That's who he is in Titanic. Yeah.
He's the POS boyfriend.
I think that's the main thing that I recognise his face from. It looks like he's in Back to the Future 1 and 2, but I don't know, who does he play in that? Must be just like one of the.
He's one of Biff's guys. Right. I think he maybe has sunglasses on.
Yeah,
he's he's a high school bully kid, basically one of
type. Yeah,
he's a heavy. Not the heavy, I guess. Okay, so Drax and everybody gets onto a seaplane to disappear. The Phantom catches them, but he just basically clings onto the plane on the outside for hours, apparently, and he doesn't die or freeze or anything. But he's basically cling onto the seaplane with them. We then get to the Seng hideaway, or whatever it is. So wherever it is, they get there. There's a cave. There's water. Billy Zane gets off the plane a little early as they land, so he's hanging back. They get on a boat, they go through to the cave, and then there's a pirate ship there, and also a little bit of a fortress, underground. They also find, I think, torpedoes or something in a submarine. But they meet the pirate king guy, basically, who has the gold skull. He's Kabai Seng, is that right?
Yeah.
The leader of the Brotherhood. Drax is trying to pitch to him, look, I've got 2 skulls. Let's do this, right? The Seng guy, he's not that impressed. And he's like, you've forgotten about the 4th skull, right? And he's just like, what 4th skull? Nobody knows about the 4th skull. We know about the 4th skull. We've already seen a 4th skull. Come on.
There was one thing I was going to mention. I could have mentioned it earlier, actually, but it's just I've noticed it now, is Quill's outfit is very the Silver Shadow. If you have a look at the Silver Shadows... Sorry, so the Silver Shroud. Not the Silver Shadow.
Silver Shroud.
The Silver Shroud.
Yeah. Well, let me throw this in as well. They're all dressed like mobsters as well.
Yeah.
There's mobsters, so they're all... What faction is the mobsters?
You've got a few... You've got the ones in New Vegas in one of the casinos there, right?
You've got New Vegas mobs, and then there's...
you've got the three families controlling
Yeah.
the strips: the chairman, Emertas, and the White Glove Society. So I'd say like the Emertas, I think, are quite like, and the chairman.
I think maybe thinking the chairman and
The chairman are the ones that that Matthew Perry's Benny leads.
That's true. There's no Benny character here though.
No. But yeah, I would say the overall mobster aesthetic is definitely pops up in Fallout. But I would say very specifically, have a look at the Silver Shroud's outfit. I think Quill's outfit is almost 1-to-1.
Okay, let's put it down. Okay, so there's a bit of ruckus. Apparently, the fourth skull controls the power of the three. There's a bit of fighting. The Phantom swings on a rope and kicks some people back and forth, back and forth. Interesting, there's not really been many murders. And what was interesting is during this kind of ruckus, Diana and Sala kind of join forces. They're like, these men suck. Let's you and I girls stick together. And it's kind of a bit family friendly. Like all the fighting at this point is like whacking people over the head, and nobody's dead. But then it just ramps up at a certain point and people start getting shot. I just thought that was interesting. How
is there blood?
They had this little... I don't know if there's blood. Well, there's definitely blood, I think, when... Well, let's skip forward a bit. After all this fighting and back and forth, I think Quill gets killed or whatever. Drax puts the skulls together. Kabai Seng has a face-off with the Phantom, and I'm pretty sure he gets... Oh, we didn't mention... I guess we skipped over it. There's... In this underwater cave where the pirates are, there's a couple of sharks just in the water, just going around. And the pirate king guy, he falls in the water and gets eaten by the sharks. I think there's blood there.
Yeah, there's a little bit of blood coming out of Seng's mouth as well, but nothing crazy. So I feel like could this have been a PG? I don't know, maybe.
The Phantom, Diana, and Sala have now the gold skull, and Drax has the other two. They escape by getting into a submarine. And I've made a note here. This is where I learned Catherine Zeta-Jones is called Sala. I didn't get her name at all until this point. They get into a submarine, and the Phantom has to manually shoot them out so they don't hit any rocks or anything. So he's trying to find an opportunity to shoot them. Drax and Quill show up here. Quill tries to knife the Phantom. He has a switchblade.
Oh, yeah. We can add that
very
to the
specifically.
list.
Has a switchblade. Okay. The three skulls get connected together.
Through some
and they kind of start
very bad CGI. Very 90s CGI.
Yeah. The Phantom gets his dad's gun belt back off of Quill because Quill's been wearing it. And then Drax accidentally disintegrates Quill with the skull laser eyes. Which just, again, Drax is having the time of his life. Like, he's just going mad. He loves that he's got this power. He's going mad with it. The fourth skull is the ring that the Phantom has, which has been passed from Phantom to Phantom. And it basically turns the skull lasers purple as they shoot towards him. He shoots them back at Drax. His final words are unbelievable as he explodes into a ball of flames. The Phantom escapes with the girls. He shoots them out in a little submarine. He's dragged away by them as well, so he's dragged free. The place blows up. Diana says, kind of like, I know it's you, Kit. I'm not totally stupid. And he pulls the mask off, just for the sake of continuity. When he has the mask on, he has black makeup on to make up for his eyes and stuff. When he takes the mask off, the face paint is gone, but whatever. That's the end of the movie. We get the credits.
There's a little bit of stuff.
What have I missed?
There's a little bit of stuff with him not ending up with what's her name?
Diana.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. It's interesting. He kind of says it's kind of too dangerous and whatever, and she's like, well, I kind of want to, so it's fine.
It kind of plays into a character, so it doesn't finish. I feel like the way it ended.
Oh wait, is it? Do we get this through a voiceover at the end? We didn't even talk about that as opening and closing narration.
Yeah, there's opening narration. Yeah, I did have that noted down as like a potential point. I was gonna mention it. So yeah, I think narration definitely could count. It felt like they were setting up for, like, they were ready to go for a sequel. You know, like they left some thread. Especially between them. Diana and Kit.
I don't know. I feel like that was Happy Ever After. I feel like it was kind of Happy Ever After. You know what I mean? Like the will they, won't they should be more. Will they see more evil in the world or not? Like I feel like this would they with a sequel. With a sequel, should it be if there's if the core thing is not about a romantic couple and it's about fighting evil?
Yeah, like it wouldn't be. This wouldn't be like setting up the story for the sequel. I think it's more just that they don't tie it in the neatest of bow. That like you're like, okay, that's one and done. It feels like no, we're open to coming back to this world. I never did.
Right. Anything else we want to cover plot-wise, or shall we? Let's review our great score so far, and we'll see if there's any gaps or anything we need to change. So genre quite right now, we've got comic books, right? We've got comic books for the genre, and we've got world on the brink of war.
Yeah, so flesh that out for me, because I barely noticed that, right? Because it's like a line in there.
It's interesting because it's very specifically in the on-screen titles, whatever. It says 1938. So even in reality, this is a year before the Second World War. And so when Drax is pitching, this is why we need these skulls. We need power. We need the most powerful weapon possible. These ancient skulls or whatever. That's kind of his pitch, right? He's saying the world's about to blow up. Europe and Asia are going mad. America's bankrupt or something. I'm not sure what he says. It's in ruins or something. So I don't know how accurate that is. But that's kind of his pitch. And I kind of like the idea of there is tension in the world. And I think you have that in Fallout, right? You have that as mostly Cold War.
Yeah.
I think tensions, Cold War and capitalism itself, eating itself, and the idea of communism and freedom kind of also is there as a catalyst. And that's kind of where I'm at with that. Maybe it doesn't go in genre, I'm not sure, but maybe it's pre-war tension.
I think it's to do with the plot, so I think it's in the right place. I would put it as can we put it as a maybe for the moment?
Put it as a maybe.
Yeah.
Comic books we're happy with.
Yeah, that's definitely good. We've got the opening monologue, so I think that definitely counts. I can't remember if there was a closing monologue, but either way, like
into genre.
Yeah,
let's throw that into genre. Okay.
And then I had a couple from the beginning. They're kind of soft ones, but lands on the island. The boy landing on the island, ashore the island. It feels like a Fallout setup. Like you could start a Fallout game like that, right? Like you wash up on the shore, and you're dragged off into the jungle by this faction. It's a very clean slate kind of beginning. So yeah, I thought it was like quite a Fallout setup.
I think so. Actually, I quite like that. Like you say, we don't really explore it much, but I think that's more a narrative mechanic.
Yeah.
So I'd throw that into random events.
I was thinking this, like, as we go, I feel like you could almost like ask a question, right? Which is that, could this work as a Fallout setup? Like if you had this and this little bit of the story, the start of the story, would this work? Because I think I had that with Beneath the Planet of the Apes a little bit as well, where you've got this character who has just crash landed on the planet. So that's Fallout has those very distinct starts where it's a clean slate for your character. They're in a new world, and you could go from there and then choose your adventure type thing. So that's kind of like the element of it, because it's quite a soft thing, I think, within this, but I think it's enough of a theme where I feel like you can ask the question of, would this work as a Fallout setup? If yes, I think that can count as a point.
I'm going to put it as a maybe at the moment.
Yeah.
I've put it under random events, though. So I'm going to blank slate on the island. Let's put it as a maybe. We'll revisit in a minute.
And then I also had, just with the beginning when they're looking for the location on the map, that also felt like very exploration, based. Like, they are.
I mean, they have a map,
Yeah.
which is interesting.
Yeah, they've got a map.
So-
They're
so-
trying to find a location. They're traversing through dangerous terrain to get there, including like the bridge with the sign on it, which felt very Fallout as well. So like that whole kind of mechanic there at the beginning was, very sort of reminiscent of the gameplay.
It's a map quest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any more
Nothing under genre.
that we've missed genre? Okay, let's see what we got at the moment under random events. So we threw Blank Slate on the Island is in there, but we also had radio play dialogue into random events, or random specifics, should we say?
Yeah, I think radio play dialogue's definitely a point. I had the Phantom logo looking like I keep writing Silver Shadow, but I actually mean Silver Shroud.
I know what you mean. I think I've probably said Silver Shadow a few times.
Yeah, I wonder if it is actually the Silver Shadow logo though. It's I guess this goes in line with the comic book dialogue where it's I think that's referred to as like pulp comics. I think it is that kind of era, 30s, 40s comic books having that aesthetic, right? Whatever you like, the Phantom aesthetic is the same thing that you get with the Hubris Comics and the Astoundingly Awesome Tales. So that logo itself, it reminded me. But I'll need to actually find if the Silver Shroud has a logo of some kind, because if it doesn't, I don't think it counts as a point. Okay, I would say that we can't determine a logo for sure. I just
No.
I guess it falls in line with the comic book aesthetic overall, which we've already covered. So I think that's fine.
Okay.
All the hairstyles being Fallout hairstyles, especially like when you look at all the women on all the people on the plane. Actually, it wasn't just the women.
Is this the random specifics, or is this aesthetics?
I think maybe aesthetics actually. Yeah.
Hairstyles, yeah.
Though it is very specific, but hey ho.
Well, it is in that it's hair, but it's also all the women.
Yeah.
so it's kind of it's specifically hair, but it's a big pool for them to jump into.
Okay,
think,
and then this one, I don't know if I would actually put this forward as a point. It reminded me a little of this when Quill is talking about when his exact quote is, "I killed him once and he isn't dead." It just reminded me of what Benny must have said about the courier in New Vegas.
Ah, okay. I thought that's a random specific.
Yeah.
Let's throw it in. You're right. That is someone being surprised that they thought they were
kill that
safe.
guy.
Yeah. And also he killed him. He took his gun belt, killed him, took the gambling chip, right? The
platinum chip.
Gets it back off him later, right? So I think that's a very similar one there. Okay, let's have a quick recap of the great so far. So genre, it's the comic book genre here that we get from Hubris Comics. We've got a world on the brink of war. We've got opening and closing narration, and we have the fact that there's a couple of map specific quest things that we are doing, which is quite Fallout. In our random specifics, we've got some very radio play dialogue. We've got the fact that the kid at the beginning, it's a blank slate on the island where you are new, you're fresh, great. Kind of very Fallout. You've just come out the vault. What do we do now? And then we have the Benny-like dialogue of, didn't I just kill that guy or whatever, and I've taken something from him. Now, environment, we've only got cave. But environment also, do we have this... I know I'm going to sound like if I were to say Art Deco and Art Nouveau, I don't know the difference, right? But there'll be somebody who will be yelling at me going like, don't you know the effing difference? But like, that's also a good point. This is also a good point to throw out. podneverchanges@gmail.com. If you want to yell at us, do it there. It's fine. podneverchanges@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Okay, but like, do you know what I mean? Like the architectural and the offices and the furniture, like these are things that you get when you go into, like, who's the guy that owns the big tower in Fallout 3? Who's shooting people? Do you know what I mean? Like that's his vibe.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember what his name is. For some reason, Tenpenny's coming into my head, but that's a GTA character.
That's what I was thinking of, something like that, or Tennington or Pennington.
Yeah, he's the one that makes you. He wants you to blow up Megaton, right? Oh, it is Tenpenny. Yeah, it is Tenpenny.
It is Tenpenny.
Yeah,
there we go.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of that, right? I feel like environment when you're inside, you're there, right? And it's pre-war, and I think that's kind of it's a very pre-war environment that you get post-war. Still, you still see traces of it.
Yeah, I think that falls in. Yeah, that falls in line with what I had as well, which was the period and locations off island are very pre-war Fallout.
Yeah. Let's go to aesthetics. Aesthetics is full. We got the Tommy gun, we've got the 9mm guns, we've got the switchblade, we've got the spear, we've got the miner's lamp, we've got a pre-war Fallout, we've got the diner with the cola and the ketchup, we've got New Vegas mobsters, and we've got those hairstyles, right? Do we want to throw the weapons? Do you want to drop them? Because they're not distinct enough.
Yeah, I think so. At the moment, what we can do is we can collapse them into array of weapons, inclusive of the Tommy gun, etc. I also had noted down knuckle duster, but I can't actually remember where there was a knuckle duster. But I think there were knuckle dusters in the film somewhere. Potentially Quill, maybe. It kind of Quill
maybe, yeah.
Looks like the sort that would be carrying knuckle dusters. I also had the skull. This I would have as a separate thing. The skull weapon is like a plasma weapon.
Well, it disintegrates the guy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So it's more like a energy weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we want to throw that as a separate thing?
I think so, because I think it's very distinct.
Skulls equals energy. It does turn him into a pile of ash.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? When it kills Quill.
So we've collapsed the weapons in together. I think you could do the same with some of the like miscellaneous items. So you've got the miner's lamp there. I also had the radio equipment. When they're listening for the plane.
Yeah.
It's all very not the ham radio, the other type of radio. So I think just generally that I think there's a point there for just there's various items throughout that are very Fallout era.
Do we've got pre-war Fallout aesthetic under aesthetics here. That kind of encompasses a lot. Do we want to then remove the furniture and aesthetic from environment?
I guess what is the more overwhelming piece? Everything in the non-island segments is very pre-war Fallout, ranging from the clothes that they're wearing to the items that they're carrying to the furniture and decor. I'd say it's maybe an overall. Yeah, I'd say maybe it's an overall aesthetic thing rather than an environment thing. I think environment should be reserved for locations that are similar to Fallout. So I think we can just go pre-war Fallout, inclusive of design, decor, etc.
Great. So does that mean hairstyles as well? So do we get rid of the hairstyles?
Yeah.
Let's get rid of that.
Okay, so my only thing with the hairstyles is just...
Is there a specific hairstyle?
I think they're all almost exactly Fallout hairstyles. I think that was the thing, is that maybe it's just any film that is set in kind of ranging from 40s to the 60s probably has similar hairstyles, so maybe you do just collapse it in with pre-war.
So let's just recap these. Weapons, which is the Tommy gun, the 9mm, the spear, the switchblade. None of them is particularly distinct, but we find them. We've got miner's lamp, ham radio, these kind of misc items, which are in aesthetic, but they pop up a lot. Pre-war Fallout, which is like the furniture, the vibe, the hairstyles, as we said. New Vegas mobsters, they are distinct enough that they are here. And we've got the skull as an energy weapon, so that's 5 for aesthetics.
Yeah, I had pulp hero aesthetic, but I think that fits. I think that's already counted across like the comic books genre, and then New Vegas mobsters. I think that kind of captures those two things. Capture what I'm kind of referring to as pulp hero aesthetic.
Okay, let's look at tribes. So we have our dog companion. We have Drax is an analog for Mr. House.
Yep, I think those two are locked in.
I think so. They have factions, like you say. They are distinct. We've got, even within sub ones, we have, like in the bad guys, we've got the Zeppo crime family, who are the mobsters. We've got the pilots type women, which is Sala's kind of group. And then we do have Phantom and his, I guess, the New York people and so on. So I think they're distinct enough. Then we have, I guess, the pirates as well.
Yeah, so with the pirates, I had... Because I think that factions piece captures the fact that there's an array of different factions that have distinct identities. So I think that that's a point by itself. The specific thing I was going to say is that I feel like the pirates kind of reminded me of the Great Khans. If you check out the Great Khans logo, for example, on the Fallout wiki.
If we go into lore. We even have here, we have a formation of, we see distinctly that we have Drax as a figurehead, and then he kind of collapses under him, the Zeppo crime family, because he kills one guy, and then the other guy inherits it.
Yeah.
And then we have Salah in there, and then we have Quill and his kind of goons, mobsters. And so we kind of have, like what happened with with the Khans? I'm trying to remember the lore there, but did the Khans become part of the Legion?
They're one of... I don't think they become one of the Legion specifically. I think it's just that you can visit them when you're kind of like deciding what to do with the various factions. I think it looks like they're already allied with the Legions, the Khans. But yeah, have a look on the page, because I feel like that when you look at the logo of the Great Khans, it just looks like Seng, like the leader Seng. And so for me, that's like it really specifically parallels, in the same way that House parallels to Drax parallels to House.
Yeah, I guess even like their kind of raiderish outfits as well.
Yeah,
they're more piratey than kind of raiders wearing, pre-war stuff for their post-war raider lifestyle. Okay, let's throw it in. We said the Silver Shroud and Quill. They're not a one-to-one in terms of character. So really, it's just an aesthetic.
Yeah,
but it's a very specific one. So I'm going to move that into random specifics, because it's a very specific aesthetic. It's not just these aesthetics and stuff. It's such a one-to-one in terms of... What do we keep that in aesthetics? Throw it in aesthetics, that's fine. Okay, so now let's lock this down. Final one. Comic books and genre. So genre, we're saying comic books, fine. What's your position on the pre-war world?
Yeah.
Pre-world, keep it in?
Yeah, I think we can keep that in.
I sold you on it, fantastic. Opening, closing narration.
Yeah.
Map, specific questing.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's 4 for genre. Random specifics. Radio play dialogue. We've got the blank slate on the island, and I already killed him once.
I think I would kill the blank slate on the island, just because it's not the initial setup of the film. It's like this quick backstory piece. If the story had been about him as a boy on the island, I think that would have worked.
It's not about him.
Yeah.
You're right. It's not about them. This is not the adventure we're having. Somebody else has already had that adventure, but it's not in this film. Environment, we've just got the cave.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Because we get caves, okay. And the pre-war environment we don't really see enough of in Fallout games. We get flashbacks, but it's usually kind of suburban or whatever, and it's not really that. Okay, now aesthetics. So that's 1 for environment. Aesthetics. We've got the weapons. We've got some misc items. We've got the pre-war Fallout, kind of in terms of the aesthetic that we have. We kind of mentioned that before, but what we see in Fallout is the post-war glimpses and remainders of pre-war, which I think which is kind of fun. Like I say, that's things like the furniture, the rooms that you're in, and so on. New Vegas mobsters, we have the skull as an energy weapon, and we have the silver shroud equals Quill's outfit.
Is New Vegas mobsters strong enough, and should it also be under tribes?
I think it's strong enough, and I think you're right, it should go into tribes. So that makes it 5 for aesthetics, and in tribes is now we have our dog companion, we have the Drax and Mr. House analog, We have factions that are very distinct and distinctly outfitted. Then we have a very specific tribe of the Khans and the Sengs. And then we have our, as we just mentioned, New Vegas mobsters, which makes that 5. Now, we're going to talk about a debuff, if we have any. But that at the moment is 17, which is quite strong.
Yeah,
considering we had 21 for Mad Max 2, which again is the benchmark so far. What about debuffs for you? What should we chip off points for?
I mean, the intention behind the debuffs thing is very much meant to be, something that is so overtly not Fallout and not something that is related to the genre of the film necessarily, because obviously if a film is more of like a Western, say for example, it may have things in there that are not, like, say, horses in a Western, right? The horse did make me think a little bit that the presence of that was a little specifically un-Fallout, but I don't know if it's enough for a debuff. There were large sections.
I don't think it's there enough. Like with the cars in Mad Max, they're there all the time. With this, it's just he rides a horse for a bit, but it's mainly just because there's a chase.
Yeah. No, I don't think there's reasonably anything that you can put down as a debuff. I'm just questioning the high score.
This is what I like about the great system, my friend.
Yeah.
Is that
it teases out things that you would not have expected.
I think so, but I think it also, like I said before, I think is that if we have a Wasteland movie, that's going to score really high, but you're not going to find necessarily a Wasteland movie with these comic book elements or with, for instance, we're not going to find them with Cold War elements, right?
Or like a Mr. House specifically.
Or a Mr. House, or like
Sculler's energy weapon. Yeah,
corporate intrigue or stuff like this. So it's. I think we're gonna struggle to get this is it. We're opening it up. So
wow,
that's
a surprising.
Did I just say 17?
Yeah. 17.
17.
I think it's because there were like sections towards the end of the film where there wasn't really anything that was popping up, and I think that's the thing. It's just a lot of them are up front or specific items and things or characters that just kind of recur. So it's not like a specific moment is like Fallout. It's more just a thing that you see once or repeatedly through that doesn't need to be mentioned again. So that's probably why it's quite surprising. Well,
17. Wow. That's a pretty good movie, in my opinion.
I'm going to be lying awake thinking about debuffs for this film.
Retroactively.
I like the tone. Even the tone is very Fallout, right? Like I've one of the debuff options that I've got is, if a film is too gritty and self-serious, that can be potentially worth a debuff. But this has got the perfect Fallout tone, actually. What's your overall review of the film as a film, and what would you give it as your Letterboxd score?
So Letterboxd score out of 5. I kind of want to give it like a decent 3. The reason being is that I had fun. It's goofy. It doesn't take itself too seriously at times. I fell in love with Billy Zane. He's just so charming. And he's so, like I say, like when he's being shy, he's like, oh, so sweet. Like, I had a lot of fun. And like the dialogue is like, there's fun little jokes, fun little directing gags and stuff. It's not amazing. I see why it didn't do particularly well. It's a bit, in the context of I guess the 90s, where people clambering for the Phantom movie. But what I quite liked is also that it, in a post Tim Burton Batman world, it didn't try to be Batman. And there's movies like, I think, Darkman, it should have that humor and that fun, but it has this Tim Burton Batman, let's quickly have the setup for how he came to be and all these types of things. Like, you have like the Joker's origin story and all these, like, they kind of go into things like this pretty quick, and the music is so it threw me off when I watched it. Like I'm mad. This kind of avoids a lot of that. It definitely is of a time that sits around that time, but even though this is 96, I guess. But like I feel like it was still distinct and independent enough. And like I say, I just kind of had fun. I'm probably gonna give it 3 stars for me. That's a personal 3 stars, not an objective 3 stars.
Yeah,
subjective.
It's funny that
you?
I feel the same in that normally I feel like I rate films quite quote unquote objectively, in the sense that I'm trying to kind of rate it on the quality of the film as opposed to like how I feel about it. But this is one of those ones where if I look at it, I'm like, the action isn't that good. Like it's very mediocre action. The story is just serviceable, but there's something about it. There's like this character to it and this kind of fun that exists. It's never boring. I don't think. It's quite brisk as well.
I'd say it's never boring the first time. So like watching it the second time, I kind of switched off a little bit.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
But the first time it's refreshing.
I think it's a little bit like sometimes like what you're referring to, where superhero films, if you can call it that, or comic book adaptations, haven't really fallen into a rhythm and a kind of structure that we do obviously now. Now they've all got, it's so plentiful that each of them have this kind of this mold. Whereas at this point, it's kind of quirky just through it. It goes in sort of unexpected directions. It's kind of a little bit in like Beneath the Planet of the Apes, where I was saying how that film it did not go in the direction I was expecting a sequel to the original Charlton Heston film to go. Now, in that instance, it wasn't. I don't think it was as fun as this at all.
No.
But yeah, so there's that kind of quality of the first time you watch it. It's quite unexpected in the way it plays out. And it's got a fun tone to it. So I've given it a generous 3. What would be your what would be the mod that you apply to Fallout?
I think in any that have comic books or magazines, you would have a Phantom comic book, or to avoid copyright, you'd call it the Purple Skull, and it would grant you 2 things for whether it's be permanently. So I guess I think in like some of them they're permanent, some they only last 30 minutes. But you would be granted the Wasteland Whisperer perk, which is you can pacify animals.
Nice. And
you gain like +5 agility, or like maybe not that. That's crazy. Maybe +3 agility. Because there's this part where Billy Zane is like running and dodging, and he looks like he's on skis. You know, when people go like left, right on skis, but he's just running like. So he's got this like agility. So I think it's just Wasteland Whisperer perk plus agility when you get the Phantom / Purple Skull comic book.
Excellent.
How about yourself?
Yeah, I like that. I'd go with a little mini quest and a weapon. So the mini quest would just be to collect 3 skulls. But at the end of it, you get the skull laser weapon that you can disintegrate enemies with. So pretty simple, pretty straightforward.
Oh yeah, I like that. That's going to be so difficult to mod though. Like, well, how? Yeah, no, I guess how you would. I was trying to think like, would they be floating and you're moving them with the ring, or is it just you just hold all 3 of them together?
I think you just hold all 3, and it's really just a weapon, a projectile weapon.
That's nice and simple. And what's the quest? Who you? I guess somebody in a Silver Shroud outfit you got to defeat.
Yeah, maybe you find one of these radio plays, like a holotape, and the holotape kind of plays out a little bit of story that then indicates that there's some collectible
You get
skulls.
some dialogue.
Yeah,
that's it. Or maybe there's an old man who might be the old Phantom.
Yeah,
right. Just giving you little prompts, and he shows up out of nowhere. So like he's not there, then he's there, and he's just telling you where to go. That might be fun. What are we watching next? It's your turn to pick.
It's on your list. And I think
our list.
It's primarily your list. You've come up with a lot of films here.
Well, I made it to start with, and it was just like, now you throw some stuff on there.
There's a film that I've wanted to watch for a long time anyway, so I'm kind of killing two birds with one stone here, selfishly. Escape from New York. I have never seen it.
Never seen Escape from New York?
No.
So what are your Fallout expectations with...
My thought is post-apocalyptic. I don't know too much about it, actually. Is it Kurt Russell, right?
Yeah. John Carpenter directs. Kurt Russell.
So, yeah, my thought is post-apocalyptic. But what can I expect?
Post-apocalyptic, in a way. It's not a post-apocalyptic world necessarily, but New York kind of is. So It's a New York. And it's a world of people fending for themselves. So you kind of have a very Raider-esque world. Is the expectation here.
So the letterboxed premise is 1997. New York City is a walled maximum security prison. Breaking out is impossible. Breaking in is insane. I like that.
Yes. Yeah. To my mind, I'm already thinking of some very random specifics here that come to my head. But we'll talk about them.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Next episode, it will be Escape from New York. I've been the co-host, LJ, and you've been the co-host.
I've been Ricky. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
See you next time.
See you everyone. Bye.